If the white people were normal, if the white people were not greedy, if the white people were environmentally friendly, if the white people had tolerance, we could maybe live together. But their appetite of dominance is too much, that you cannot coexist in the same space without conflict. Because as soon as a white man comes into your space, he wants to arrange everything to make sure that it suits his worldview. He cannot just come there and live and join us and live together in harmony with us.
It's interesting what people choose to focus on, especially when it's involving them. It tells you a lot about what kind of person you're really dealing with. He is no more extreme than so-called white people making the whole story of CRT about their emotions, their feelings, in reference to your truth.
We can teach black people to be proud of who they are without telling white people they should be ashamed of who they are. You know?
Amen.
Your truth weighs less than their feelings. So when you share your truth amongst your people, as a narcissist would, they make it about themselves. You're talking about thousands of years of stories being deflected by people's feelings getting hurt. And they literally say that. They are saying that your historical timeline makes them feel bad about themselves, so you shouldn't share the information that is true to your existence because it makes them feel bad.
Without telling white people they should be ashamed of who they are. You know?
Amen.
Beyond that, fucking bullshit. The truth of that story will make them feel worse when we start to realize our natural connection to this land. Our potential when we start to activate, tune into that mode, that vibration, that frequency. The whole rest of the world knows where they're from. And they connect into, it's like a plug, like plugging into a wall. You can't even take some of these electronics from this country to another country and plug into that wall, just in basic electronics. So on higher levels, this shit matters. This is why they make it about their feelings instead of the information. It's not because it makes them feel bad. It's because eventually it's going to make their pocketbooks feel bad. Malcolm was not the only one speaking in reference to by any means necessary. These individuals he was speaking in reference to are also by any means necessary. And the people who believe in the illusions that those by all means necessary people, the lies that they spew that are designed to make people feel a certain connection, relationship, love, for these lies, these historical lies, these broken connections. This is why they cannot plug into this land, because it is not natural. All systems are being affected to maintain their creature comforts. We cannot speak our truth because it makes them feel a certain way. Yet they can make movies based on tropes, racist propaganda in literature, in your movies, on the radio, in your schools, in the design, in the erasing of your history, in your language, in your fucking name, in your belief systems, in your lineage, in your future generations. They want to tell you about your blackness, but they don't want you to say anything about their whiteness and the game of that whole invention, because both sides benefits one team. It brings us down and brings them up. Us down is two ups for them because they already got the up of every hand, every upper hand, and still fucking shit up. So yes, This man speaks in reference to dominance, taking over, destroying systems, the inability to not be at war. That is the elephant in the room. And all of this presidential shit, all these people being released, Julian Assange, everything, all the shit you can imagine is all a distraction from people getting to just a regular truth. Just your classic Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's. People like cringing when I said that shit. Just some fucking pancakes, some eggs, some nasty ass bacon, some orange juice, and just your basic everyday shit for that world. Just that story. What's the eggs of the story? The toast, the orange juice, the grits, the potatoes, the fruit, and whatever you put in fucking breakfast, pancakes and shit. It has a limit somewhere. That's only a few stories. That's not including all the other stories. That's shrinking it down to something very simple. And we can't even do that. You can't even talk about the most basic shit. They have free reign to say anything about your story, your history. They can make movies about it. They can make jokes about you. They can kill you as the first person who dies in every movie. It's an ongoing joke. Nobody fucking says shit. As soon as you say something about their history, just saying it. We're not making a fucking movie out of it yet. Some people are just talking about it on the internet. And then they get the internet police to take shit down. That's how far it's gone. That story is protected so much, they create all these other distractions to weaponize and to remove information. Videos of mine going down weekly under the guise of medical misinformation or conspiracy theory policy that YouTube has. That's their equivalent. They're not striking. They're just taking them down and saying, oh, well, you probably didn't know about this because we just invented it. But we're going to take this video down and we'll just not give you a strike. All right? So you're welcome. And they just remove all these videos. Strangely enough, right when I will upload something new. Anyway. Not only this, go a step even further. Who the fuck are you to tell you? Who gave you the authority to tell us what we can and can't say about actual historical truth? Shut the fuck up already. You've already said too much. There's too many fucking lies out there. Because it protects your story. Shut the fuck up already. We don't need to hear your perspectives on shit that we're talking about in our little circles. And the most extreme shit that we say on a regular basis is still not touching how far we should be going in this situation. Like Malcolm alluded to, you should be happy that we haven't responded in kind. We have every right to respond as what was put onto us. But that's not who we are. Even with all the instigation, it's still not who we are. We're still known. Our character is so rich, it shines through their propaganda. They have to make movies. They have to make characters to design a mentality to install into the minds of the masses of people to downgrade your existence. Your very character has been under attack for hundreds of years. They have cartoonized our existence as being the comic relief in movies, the first person to die in movies, the thug, the gangster. Thug, gangster, and athlete. That's it. That's all you got. Oh, music. Musician, rapper. That's all you got. If you step anywhere out of that box, even if you're firmly planted in that box, if you step anywhere out of there, they will attack you from every fucking angle. And those attacks are nothing They're nothing in comparison to the ongoing, the onslaught. They talk about rap music and how you are the way you are, the way they tell people you are in movies and on their dumbass TV shows. They tell that to you without telling you who owns these music industries, which is their ignorant asses.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
The same people who own the labels own the prisons. So
Literally the same people?
literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
Their arrogance comes from creating storylines that go in subcategories into subcategories of the actual truth that is as simple as can be. Pure observation, historical observation of what's been going on. There is a problem with a certain demographic of people, and it's affecting the natural cycles around the whole earth. Down to a point it's gotten into the psyche of particular people. And now it's starting to infect even more systems. The systems of the individuals who have been protected by this system. They made laws to protect these individuals against you. And we're not the violent ones. We're not the ones who enslaved. We're not the ones who retaliated to such atrocities, such as gator bait, feeding babies to alligators, Jim Crow, on and on and on. All 9 levels of Neely Fuller Jr.'s levels of activity, all that and beyond. The problem the majority of people have is that they don't know where to start. And a lot of people thinking they already started somewhere, but they're still going on the last stream that they've been on for a long time. The focus gets changed. You start focusing on one of the scope. Imagine 2 scopes on a rifle. You looking at the wrong scope. Because if you look at the scope you're supposed to be looking at, you'll see something completely different. But since you keep forcing yourself to look at that and you've convinced yourself that that's the reality, even with all the historical fact that's out there, there's not enough illusion juice out there to convince us of shit that you want us to believe anymore. Especially now that we've uncovered all this other bullshit. The happy-go-lucky human story that people want to sell in the New Age community about love and we're all one and all that bullshit, that shit needs to be boiled all the way down. Get all that excess water out of there. That needs to be boiled down to a concentrate. And that concentrate will make the intention of that statement fucking disappear. It'd be no reason to even say something stupid shit as that, because it's just fucking, it's too tiny. Our connection outside of all that bullshit, it's inherent. It needs no words to be said. So if it needs no words to be said, why the fuck do you keep talking about it? So it's secondary to the actual story that needs to be addressed. The action part of the story. The introduction is never mind. Once you start reading chapter 1, the action part of that book, the introduction is the story of, yes, whatever you want to say that includes the energy of everything, all that is and beyond after this experience and before and all that. Great. Ball it up, put it in a box somewhere, just leave it there. Okay. Now the action part of this story doesn't start there. The action part of this story starts in healing these traumatic wounds that are bleeding out. Arterial wounds. There's a psychological bleeding that contributes to physical bleeding. And we can't even speak about this psychological bleeding. We can't get that bleeding contained because it hurts people's feelings when we need to get that thread to sew up our wounds. They're charging us for the thread with guilt trips and stolen time. Stolen time, all the resources in that time. It's beyond what you would consider value. Time includes all things of value in that moment. To steal time is to steal all things of value. How much time has been stolen in these illusions being told and maintained by these institutions? And now you think we're going to sit back and just let you say some dumb shit because you're ignorant as fuck? No, it's not happening. And the only place you have a voice is on the internet. That's what scares the shit out of these people. Speak on the land, and your voice sounds a little different. What land are you standing on? That bass doesn't reverberate off of the land, out of your voice the way it does with ours. You can't speak with that bass. We can speak as the individual in the beginning of this video did. We can speak as he did. Because what we speak is based upon historical fact. If it were untrue and it hurts people's feelings, that's a different story. But that story isn't even taken into account because the untrue stories that are told in all these movies and music and historical books that make us look like shit, those fucking emotions and responses, those don't matter, do they? Why? Because you have normalized it. But you haven't normalized it for you. Because normal for you is abnormal to nature. Lying about all this bullshit. So they make the story about, oh, generalizing about white people when you say white people. No. What comes before your feelings about generalization is this a fact? Does that historical fact exist in reality? Will that reality hurt some people's feelings? Yes. Do those feelings come into any part of the discussion when you start the discussion at historical fact? No. Because that's a romanticism of a perspective. You want us to romanticize the story to make you feel good. We want to understand the historical fact so we can heal ourselves and move on. If move on includes moving away from you, so be it. And the responses to this information coming to the surface is only confirming our feelings in what we should do and why we should do what we want to do. Every story, every perspective only confirms what we need to do in response to what has been done to and around us on our land. These criminals don't even go by their own laws. And people are trying to protect the system of people who break their own laws. And when they break those laws, it protects a certain group of people. That group of people is not the original people of this land. How is telling that story not the front page of every newspaper every day until it's understood and normalized? No, because romanticism runs everything. Romanticism comes before historical fact, before truth. There has been entire propaganda systems designed to affect us a certain way. People around the world see us a certain way because of that propaganda put out by a certain group of people. They call themselves white people. So-called white people are protecting scraps of a destroyed and incredibly corrupt system. People are protecting this with costumes, video, music, movies, everyday stories, distraction, selling you everything. The next distraction is artificial intelligence, the blending of your reality and the simulated reality. Not even being able to differentiate between what is real and what isn't real. Further implanting their idea of creating reality. Even if it's an artificial reality, it's a reality. Don't you get things from the people who created the artificial reality? Aren't you using a thing that the artificial reality people created? Aren't you... Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. With these people getting their feelings. They can't even speak facts and say, yes, I agree with that. That is fact. Let's put that on the board. They can't do that without getting their feelings involved. It's people make their whole fucking business around that. Drama. Knowing people will get attracted to that and monetize it. It's pretty sick. So entire systems have been designed against us, which is why it's so difficult to even share the truth. Even just you speaking makes... On more than one occasion, just in this past couple weeks, I've walked past people who have given me the most disgusting looks that you could imagine. And people who know where I'm coming from know what I'm saying. When that old festering ass race story exists in that individual, when they look at you, you're just a fucking... If you're strong, smart, confident, and stand in your own character, that makes these people sick. They can't stand it. They need so much equipment to do what you do naturally. Your very existence is a threat. It's painful to watch for them. This is a type of person that exists in a group of people. One people's feelings about this in this group, this consciousness of people existing in that whole group doesn't matter. How you feel about what that group, how that group exists in your circle, that doesn't fucking matter. Do they exist? Yes. How big of a percentage do they represent in your group? How much of an effect does that exist in reality? It exists in our fucking world. We know about it. It exists so much in your circle, your group of people, that we have a psychological response to it. A very complex psychological response to it. People have to go to therapy. People learn how to treat people who have been subjected to this mentality. That's how far it's gone. And by you even bringing it up to the discussion, the very sound of your voice is illegal. Not only why are you speaking, but if you are speaking, why are you not in a box somewhere? Why can I hear you speaking? This is what censorship is. You can speak. Oh, I heard you speaking. Turn you off. Turn you down. Nobody sees you. No. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. It makes people feel bad. We're doing this for your own good. This is for the security of Western civilization. So no, generalization isn't where the discussion starts. It starts, chapter 1 is facts. Mind control, deflection, distraction, narcissistic mentalities, that's chapter 2. Facts, chapter 1. These people haven't read chapter 1 because it hurts too much. We've read chapter 1, we've lived chapter 1. We've read and lived chapter 2 at the same time because we were forced to. And we started to understand what this whole book was about after a while, because you can't go on to the next chapter if you skip over one chapter. You can know all you want about illusions, conspiracy theories, secrets this, secrets that. Doesn't fucking matter if you don't know the facts. So you want to go back to where that computer was created and who created it. Well, who has access to the fucking resources before it was stolen to make those computers? Who's still using criminal labor to produce those computers? Who's taking advantage of the people when they're making those computers to fail every 2 years or less than that? Just like the cars and just like everything else. This stuff has to have a fast expiration date because their illusions have a fast expiration date. They need to be fast about this story, because eventually people are going to stop believing the bullshit. Everything is designed to protect the illusions of the people who benefit the most from this system. If those illusions start to fail, the benefits start to go away. Your acknowledgement of humanity has a price tag on it. It's like forcing them to make something go on sale. Giving you reparations is like forcing them to say 75% off of everything. Everything is on a blue light special. They don't want to do that, especially if they don't have to do that, because people keep distracting themselves with such bullshit. Monetizing drama, instigating drama to monetize drama. It's a spell. The system provides benefits at the expense of other people. The people don't care about you as an individual or as a group of people, because your humanity has been sucked out of the storyline that is sold to the individuals who have been told that they are the bringers of evolution. This is what the whole story of the New World is. This is what the Republicans and the Democrats are protecting. This idea of the evolved human. This is why they won't even listen to you. Flat Earth is a great example of it. They literally talk about how, yeah, people back in the day, the dummies, they believe the Earth was flat too. Yeah, big dummies. But, you know, it's not, because science and spaceships and sports cars flying to Mars, okay? Elon Musk, bitch. And that's in your face. That's a dunk. Slam dunk on you guys. It's like, you haven't even stepped on the court. You don't have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You're repeating an idea, an identity that you saw on TV somewhere on a commercial. It's not even factual information when you look at to where their information comes from. So they protect it with their lies. They have to, like gas on a fire, they have to expand that bullshit. It's the only way that the illusions get played on network television or whatever the best time of the day. Back when TV was over internet, anything was just like, what's coming on prime time TV and all this bullshit. Yeah. Their story, their westernized mentality at the expense of your historical fact. That mentality is the prime time story. And you're on Soul Beat. You're not even on a network that it doesn't even go to people outside of Oakland. You're only on Soul Beat, TV network #1. Nobody knows about Soul Beat, okay? So just shut up with your dumb network television, only for your weird Oakland people, and just pay attention to NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, LBTQ, STLV. Look at all that stuff And don't be coming here with this soul beat information. Nobody cares. Nobody watches your channels. Nobody knows what that is. It doesn't matter. And we just keep saying it doesn't matter whether you think it matters or not. Your perspective on this information is irrelevant. So with that existing, we should still be paying attention to what you want us to pay attention to. So you're not only not wanting to look at what we're saying, but you're forcing us to look at what you're saying. Twice fucked up. This is that violence. This is that inability to be among other people without trying to dominate them. This response that you have to our historical fact is that dominance. You're just proving everything that we're saying about why we need to step away. Telling that we're all human story is like trying to tell somebody who's in a toxic relationship, oh, come on, baby, we can work this out. No, you're beating her. The abuse, the psychological abuse, is interwoven into the very nature of the individual who's been subjected to this abuse. Their generations are responding unconsciously to this behavior, to this abuse. And people are saying, but we're all one, we're all human. Shut the fuck up for one moment and deal with this abusive relationship going on that is spreading the seeds of the wars all over the world. That story is why those wars are continuing to go on. They've already gone to war with people in their own land. Recently, with 9/11, and even more than that, with Katrina, guns on the street, drugs on the street, the mentality in the music, in the movies, in the TV. This was a design. We can't even say the design exists because people say their feelings get hurt. Your feelings don't matter if they're in response to factual, historical evidence. And telling this story is not to push blame, because there's so many other people who are a part of our story, our family, who have instigated these stories because it benefits them in some sort of way. The blame, another bullshit ass perspective, is not what we're saying. That's not where the story comes from. Because you have your feelings involved in it again, now you're seeing it as blame. No, leave your feelings out of this historical information for one moment and read it as you would read instructions on setting up a computer. Your feelings don't need to be involved in that. Set it up so you can use it. Until then, shut the fuck up. They don't even want to put the computer together because the bullshit computer that they created still makes money for them. Saying, no, you don't need all that bullshit. Tune into nature first. First, stop destroying it. Understand how to tune into it. Then go into all those other chapters that go down the line. First, heal the wounds. Stop the bleeding. Stop all the blocked airways. Heal the wounds. Then move forward. People talking about, oh, but we're already moved forward. What are you talking about dealing with healing wounds and stuff? Come on, why don't you people just pull yourself up? Use your bootstraps to create a tourniquet. Pull them on up and strap them around that bleed and let's get on back to work. Get the fuck out of here. Again, your perspective on how we should react in a situation is irrelevant. Stop claiming to have the authority of perspective in every situation. It's built into the character of these individuals. They think they have the authority of every perspective for every situation. Not only that, the people who challenge their perspective are irrelevant. That's two types of magic. That's a bringing up of magic and a bringing down of magic. Both are magic. These individuals have been built up under this magic spell for so long. They're like a fucking celebrity who then thinks they want to become a singer now or some shit. They're like the Ashley Simpson of humanity. And they will attack anybody who says that they can't sing. No, you cannot sing. You're not a fucking artist. Not on that level. But they took control of the stage with these mind controls, with the destroying of your history. And now that you're taking back control of that stage through just talking about the information, it's a threat to all the glory that they've received from their road show. But it's time to take the show back on the road, because people aren't paying for it anymore. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody believes you anymore. At least nobody who is relevant to this discussion. Because the people who are still falling for that bullshit ultimately are irrelevant. They can only go as fast as the system allows them to go. Let them be. We need to deal with the world and where we want to move without them even being involved. Because they're only going to move so fast. They will be there. You can step away and still do whatever you need to do because they will be there. The important thing is to figure out what you want to do. What I've been saying, what I did for myself, and I've only been sharing that in many different ways, is I focused on the healing first. Face the situation as you would face a casualty on a battlefield. Clear the airways, stop the bleeding, address the shock, get the burns, whatever it is that is the most important thing, face that first. We need to see that and use that on us. They don't want you to focus on the most important thing because the things that are not as important make them money. Maintain their power. You're like, no, there's some bleeding over here. People can't breathe. No. You have to address the fact that they are wearing the wrong shoes. Yeah, but they're bleeding. No. Fix their shoes. Then do the bleeding stuff, okay? No.